I paused on the building steps longer than I'd meant to. The city smelled of winter damp and exhaust fumes, and for a moment I considered turning around. My brother's words echoed in my head. Her family is too accomplished for you. Don't even bother. He hadn't said it maliciously, but there was a caution in his voice, a quiet fear that I'd only embarrass myself. I had the invitation, the gift, a small, unassuming houseplant, and a half-formed thought that maybe, just maybe, I could navigate the evening with minimal humiliation. My reflection in the glass door looked tired, but deterred. One step, I told myself. One step into the living room, and I could leave if it went badly. Inside, the apartment smelled of new wood and white candles. There was laughter, clinking glasses, and immediately, I felt it, the scrutiny, light but precise. Eyes lingered too long, voices softened with a hint of derision when they thought I wasn't looking. The fiancée's father was on a video call, apparently working remotely, and her mother was laughing in a way that made the corners of my mouth tense. The comments began as small jabs designed to unsettle rather than confront. "So, what exactly do you do?" one asked, with a faintly condescending tilt of the head. "You'll get there someday, I'm sure," another said, and their smiles didn't quite reach their eyes. The words stung, but it was the quiet judgment that hurt more. I kept my voice neutral, smiled politely, and placed my gift on a side table, listening, observing, noting each subtle shift in posture, in tone. There was a part of me that wanted to shrink, to disappear into a corner, and let the evening pass without incident. But another part, an almost alien sort of patience, told me to stay. The same part that remembered every late night at work, every quiet hour learning, building, networking, proving competence in a world that often overlooked it. I focused on that, on the knowledge that my worth didn't depend on this apartment, on their assessments, or on my brother's warnings. The fiancé's family seemed to sense my distance and pressed. "You know you never make it in that field, right?" her sister said, and there was a flicker of laughter behind her hand. I caught the glance. It was meant to humiliate. For a moment, I felt a heat rise in my chest, the old familiar embarrassment threatening to consume me. But I didn't respond. I just looked past them, noticing the way the lights glinted off glass surfaces, the way the shadows shifted across the room. Then her father's voice cut in, calm, deliberate through the video call. "Hold on," he said. "Who is that?" All conversation paused. Heads turned toward the screen. The air shifted. "That's, her brother's guest," someone muttered. Her father squinted at the camera, then leaned closer. His eyes locked on mine, and for a moment I felt the room compress, the tension sharpen. "That's my boss," he said. He pointed directly at the screen. His voice was even, measured, undeniable. "Why didn't you tell me your brother is the reason I have this job?" The room went still. The laughter vanished. Glasses stopped midair. My stomach did a strange flip, not from fear, but from the realization that the hierarchy had just inverted silently, invisibly, in an instant. Faces paled. The sister's smile faltered. Her mother blinked, adjusting her posture as though she had suddenly remembered some inconvenient truth. My brother's mouth opened and closed. I could see the recognition dawn in his eyes, the sudden awareness of his own miscalculation. I smiled very slightly, not to gloat, not to confront, but as an acknowledgement of the silent shift in reality. The power, so carefully hoarded by the family, had quietly but undeniably shifted to me by virtue of someone else's authority recognizing my role. And then I left. No dramatic exit. No speech. I stepped past the threshold, the muffled murmurs of the living room behind me, and walked down the hall to the elevator, my coat heavy on my shoulders, but my posture light. Outside, the city greeted me with indifferent lights and the faint hum of traffic. I breathed in, letting the cold air strip away the remnants of discomfort, leaving only calm, collected vindication. In the days after, the party replayed in my mind, not the laughter, not the mockery, but the moment her father's eyes met mine on the screen, the precision of his words, the way the room stilled under the weight of that recognition. My brother never apologized. The fiancé's family treated me differently the next time we met, but I was already gone, already removed from their gaze. And that was enough. It wasn't triumph in the sense of revenge. It wasn't glee or cruelty. It was quiet acknowledgement that the world is bigger than the small judgments we carry. That authority can be subtle but unmistakable, and that sometimes the best victory is to walk away with dignity intact while others scramble to recalibrate. I never went back to that apartment. But every so often, I replay that night in my head, not to savor humiliation or success, but to remember how fleeting arrogance can be and how quietly, sometimes invisibly, respect can be restored, even when no one sees it but you.